Hello, my name is Jeff. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. First of all, I would just want to say thank you for the people who have been the new subscribers and the old subscribers that have kept with me. My channel is not very tight as far as putting a video in a 3 or 4 minute format. I tend to like to keep it like you and I are sitting on a bar stool somewhere and we're talking. So that's why there are some overlap and some repeats, and it's just me trying to convey a certain message of what your narrative should be. If you listen to, and I should also say, yeah, 350 new subscribers in the past 30 days. That blows. The last 30 days have blown away any other time that I've ever had subscribers. I would typically get right around 100 a month, somewhere in that area. So I'm very thankful for a lot of you that it is resonating, even with my tone, maybe condescending and arrogant in some fashions, and I understand that. It's just my style. Because I'm also kind of, when I'm talking with you, I'm actually talking to the people that try to troll the channel and go from there. So that's part of where my tone comes from. This is going to be another topic, and I'm not going to be disparaging this person, but this is something that is fairly common in the comments over the past year and a half, or coming up to 2 years now, when I've been doing more of a self-defense narrative and teaching you what a narrative should be. What your narrative should be is what outsiders see you as. If outsiders see you as an aggressive ass and quick to temper, it's going to be a narrative that if you ever get into a use of force event, it's going to come out of what your character may be. The jury's going to listen to that. The jury's going to decide whether or not your narrative and your person, the way that you hold yourself, your gravitas, is going to affect their decision. Narrative is everything, because when you're in a use of force event and something does go wrong, and you may make a mistake in some fashion, but you can recover. If you make stupid comments on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, police departments now have dedicated social detectives who will go onto these sites and try to paint you as an idiot in some fashion. So when you're dealing with a narrative, you always need to say, what if your action? You cannot have an emotional response to an action, because it makes you look petty and small. Again, I am not disparaging this person. I just want to use him as an example, because he is the latest comment that this is common to. Please don't tell him he's an idiot. Do not make any, because this is a learning moment. This is a learning moment for you guys to learn that narrative is everything. Here we are. Quick draw on the man. Here's my story in a nutshell. My son was attacked and beaten up by a thug. I went to confront his parents about medical bills. They were out of town, but when I arrived at their house, thus thug of a kid was having a party at his parents' house. He seen me pulling up to the house at the time and sent his 12 of his buddies to confront me. They began hitting and kicking the truck for me to get out, and that they were going to kick my ass and rape my wife, which was in the car with me. At this time, another one of their friends pulled behind us and blocked us in. I began yelling at them to get away, or I was going to pull my weapon. They continued, so I pulled my weapon and shot 2 times in the ground to get them away so I could leave. The police did nothing about their threats and charged me with discharging my firearm. I got 90 days in jail. There is no justice in America anymore. You cannot defend yourself. Now, this is going to be the narrative, okay? Let's just say that he did have concerns about medical bills. Would the best course of action, obviously this was at night, Teenagers generally don't have parties in the daytime. If they're using their parents' house, it's going to be at night. What is your narrative going to be about getting into your car with your wife and your handgun and driving over to the parents' house? And in his words, where is it? I went to confront his parents about the medical bills. Confront is a loaded term, right? Now, why would you go over there to confront? Again, this is going to be a 20/20 hindsight in your actions. What is your narrative going to be? Is it reasonable to take your wife and your gun to go over to some parents' house of a boy who beat up your son to confront them? What could have been done better? Maybe a registered letter first to see if there's going to be any response. Showing up at someone's doorstep at night to confront them probably isn't the wisest thing that you should do for your narrative. A more reasonable narrative would have been to send a registered mail about the medical bills and go from there. Now, this could be kind of quick. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just going by his story. He gets there, and there's a large amount of children having some kind of a party there. Is your narrative very wise to pull up into the driveway? I think that's what he said. Didn't he? Having a party, his parents see me pulling up to his house. So I don't know if he was blocked, though. Okay. Up to his house, does that mean he was in his driveway? Was he in the street, but someone blocked him behind him? So he's probably was in the driveway, okay? What is your narrative going to be? That you parked in the driveway and you saw a bunch of children. And when you're an adult and you're dealing with a self-defense event, one of the things that is going to be heavily scrutinized with you is if you have an event with somebody that is a child, somebody that is under 18 years of age. He didn't say what his age was, but he did use the word kid. All right? Just be prepared for that. If you go have a self-defense event with somebody under 18, prepared to be heavily scrutinized, and your narrative of the story must be the one of the innocent victim. Not going over to someone's house to confront them. Not pulling into the driveway with a bunch of children having a party there. Okay? Now, this is where it becomes a little cloudy. All right? He gets out of his car. Did he say he got out of his car? Another time he pulled out of his car, he began to talk with him. I was going to pull my weapon. It sounds like he got out of the car. In your narrative, are you going to get out of the car, but you're trapped? The people are going to have a hard time with this. They're saying, well, this happened. You can't go back anyway. But the intellectual response and the narrative that you need to have is, you should never have been there in the first place. You went over to confront somebody. You are a CCW holder, and you went over to someone's house to confront the person. And guess what? If they do self-defense, they're going to be on a higher legal ground because of the Castle Doctrine in their favor. Because you, under your terms, went over there to confront somebody. Now he's caught in a sticky wicket. He takes his gun out. He fires 2 rounds in the ground. And he gets 90 days in jail. Granted, there's going to be a lot of things out there. They're threatening his wife. I'm not exactly sure what I would have done at the time. But I will guarantee you that if someone beat up my son and I have medical bills, I will guarantee you that I would never go over to someone's house to confront them about medical bills. I would never allow my wife to be in that situation. Now, if I knew the parents, that may have been a different thing. But he didn't say that. He obviously didn't know the parents well enough for them to be in town because they were having a party there. I would just like to say, in closing, the 2 shots into the ground with children. He got 90 days in jail, which tells me that it was a misdemeanor of some sort. That the prosecution listened to his story and gave him some pity. Do you think he would have got this pity in Cook County, Chicago? Do you think he would have got this type of sentencing in New York, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Houston, New Orleans, San Francisco, Los Angeles? Would you think that he would got this favorable of an outcome of a 90-day jail term? Until recently, firing a warning shot in Florida was a 10-year offense, just because of how the law used to be written in Florida. But now what they have done is give the benefit of the doubt of the person who is doing the warning shot not to go to jail for that long. State of Minnesota, he probably would have gotten an aggravated assault charge for discharging a weapon during some kind of a life or death event with children. Now, these guys are going to be thugs, like he said, but they're under 18 years old. And again, prepared to be heavily scrutinized when you have a life or death self-defense event with people under 18. So what is going to be the entire narrative of this? Of what I am trying to convey to you? Be aware, you have to be your own greatest marketer. You have to have a marketing degree in self-defense. You have to see what your image is going to be. People are always consumed about how they're going to be looking. I used to get called out on these videos sometimes as a pussy. And I just saw a couple more that I'm a pussy with a gun. Okay? No, I'm not. I try to be head smart and have the intellect and not be ruled by emotionalism. That is going to be a greater narrative when you are talking to your lawyer to give you the best defense available, where he can take that narrative, go to the prosecutor, and kick you out of the legal system as soon as possible. That is what you want. You want to have a great narrative, so the lawyer goes to the prosecution is going to say, yep, we got all this evidence here. We got the reasonableness, objectively reasonable kind of a thing going here. I can see it. We're not going to charge him. Let's kick him out of the system and him to go on with his life. Now, let's just say that it's the narrative that Quick Draw the man got. He told you the story. He probably told his lawyer that. Does the lawyer have a lot of ammunition to take to the state attorney, the prosecutor, and say, this is what my guy did? He is going to be hard convicted. What narrative is going to have the better outcome? You going over to some parent's house at night to confront them about medical bills, or you sending them a certified letter of the medical costs? What do you think the narrative is? This person is lucky that he went to jail for 90 days. This person is lucky that since it is a misdemeanor, he didn't lose his Second Amendment right. My name is Jeff. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. I hope this helped.